Well, what a night of wrestling. We are a bit delayed, but we should know with AEW major pay-per-views or PLEs, they usually go 4 hours. And this one
Yeah.
went 4 hours. I'm here with Luis Ruiz, and we're here to go over everything in this amazing pay-per-view. Which we'll talk about. I want to get your opinion on this, Luis, on AEW Forbidden Door. There was a lot that happened. There's a lot to go through. Plus, we're going to talk about WWE Money in the Bank, Logan Paul, Seth on NXT, and some news. But let's talk about what we just saw on Forbidden Door. First of all, before we get into it, what was your overall feeling on this? First of all, the crowd was a bit like they were hot, but it was like, were they like not rooting for anybody from AEW? Like I was confused, like with the crowd.
Yeah. It was very obviously, as we saw at Collision, the crowd was very anti-Punk to start off, which I thought was pretty funny. So, going into the Forbidden Door, I was expecting, like you said, to be mostly NJPW favored. So, I'd say as a whole, not diving into too much, I'd say as a whole, I enjoyed this Forbidden Door better than the first one. I thought it was a better pay-per-view. I think the matches were better. Overall, I think yeah, it was 4 hours, but last time it felt like 4 hours. Like this one, it was 4 hours, but it felt like each match was getting better, and they stacked the matches up really well. So I thought it was really good.
I thought it was an amazing pay-per-view. I really did. I thought it, and I agree with you, it was better than the first one.
Yeah,
It was better than the first one. And I kept thinking, okay, how are they going to top this? How are they going to make this interesting? And they really did. Breaking it down a little bit, going into the first match, again, how great MJF is. I mean, there just to me was no really competition against Tanahashi. But that was a little ridiculous, but it was how MJF played to the crowd and basically did his thing. It was short to the point.
yeah,
and
that's exactly how that in my eyes, that's what it should have been. Like that was like he, and I don't know if you saw on Twitter that he was already in the airport like
it
20 minutes
was
after his
so
match.
funny.
Yeah,
Okay, and to your point, and you said this, and I so agree with you. He is so clever and smart. The fact that he sent out that tweet while he was in the match, it was already like
yeah,
a loaded tweet ready to
yeah.
go.
He it was like what I think you could like you could do it like automatically. Yeah,
Yeah, like he automatically timed the tweet to go up, which you can do, and that was really brilliant. You don't see any
yeah.
wrestler doing that.
No,
And like, I'm already at the airport. I'm out of here.
no, it was hilarious. He's the best. Like he really is like really good. He's awesome to watch, and he in the ring he just proves everybody wrong every single time he goes out there. So
I mean,
that's
this to me was because I felt Tanahashi wasn't that great in the ring in this match. It just wasn't as fluid a match as I've seen MJF do,
yeah,
which I love seeing MJF also wrestle. There was a little less of that and more of the being the obnoxious guy, but
yeah,
it was still really good. But the funniest thing is he's already at the airport and I'm out of here. And it was so funny. And I don't,
yeah.
and I think you made a really good point on another one of our episodes too. What's so great about him and why he works is he's really a mix of like old school guys
Mm-hmm.
and new.
And he's using like I think he's like you said he's a very old school guy, but he uses like the Twitter and the videos and the social media to just bring his character out even more because we never would have known like what Stone Cold would be like if he was like his guy, but with social media. You know what I mean? It makes everything so much bigger.
It's so much bigger, and because you can take control of your own career better,
Mm-hmm.
you're not having to wait for a corporate machine. A lot of
Yeah.
times they're okay with you doing certain things as long as you can get trouble. Then we had CM Punk. And of course, as we talked about on Collision, he was already being booed in Toronto.
Yeah. Very.
And then he got booed again. And then there were the people. And then there was the conversation I saw on Twitter and online tonight about, he was playing into being a heel. I don't know if he was playing into being a heel. They just doesn't like him. And I wonder where this goes. What is your thought? By the way, I thought Punk did a great match. I have to give it to him. I thought for a singles match, first time back alone, he did a good job.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was definitely his. He looked a lot. Like the first few matches, I felt like he looked really slow, like just slower than usual.
Yeah.
But even tonight he had a little bit of back and forth. I think that he looked a lot more smooth than the first 2 matches. But like you said, not surprised he got the win. I mean, I think that's what we were all expecting. We said in previous episodes, we kind of thought he was going to come out as a heel to start Collision. I guess if they are going to do that, I guess they're going to delay it a little bit. But I mean, I would like to see Punk as a heel. So I'm kind of hoping he does that.
Okay, so I had a change of heart on this tonight. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see him be a heel, because then it kind of, now I'm thinking it's just so easy for him to become the heel. Like,
Yeah.
is it just going to be like, oh, well, that's what everybody wants, so we'll just give it to them?
We'll just give it to you. Yeah.
Or can he be the guy that you love to love or love to hate, but he's still at his core good? I don't know.
Because then you get kind of the situation where Cody was left off on AEW, where he was not gonna turn heel. He didn't want to turn heel, and the fans just started booing the crap out of him, and he was just kind of stuck there as a face, like not really doing anything. That's why he left AEW, because they didn't really like him anymore. So I just don't I don't know if that would ever be Punk, because at the end of the day, people do like him. So it's gonna be, a big decision to see if they turn him heel or not.
That's a great analogy, because I remember watching Cody at AEW towards the end, and they so wanted him to be a heel.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't turning heel.
He just wanted to be that, inspirational promo guy every single night.
Yeah. I actually liked this Punk match. But I was like you, I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna take a moment? And like at the end when he was helping the guy up, I was thinking, is he gonna smash him? Or is he gonna be like like legit Kojima, who was actually good.
Very
good. One thing I don't understand about this, and I want to, and your expertise on this. So they've got Punk and the Owen Hart Cup. Is that something like? And obviously he's gonna end up facing Samoa Joe, because that's in his bracket.
Yeah.
So other than that, would they give Punk this? Isn't it kind of a default thing? I don't know.
It'd be kind of the same thing where, we're all expecting him to win that, but I feel like I think Joe's gonna move on when they do go against each other, because I think that there's gonna be some type of interference thing that they're setting up still. I think that because they've now fought that team again, so I think they're gonna set something up with all of them.
Or he gets beaten and then this becomes the heel turn.
Yeah,
we'll see. But it was a good match.
Yeah,
it was a good match. I also have to give it that Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre, Daniel Garcia, Shibata match was crazy and great. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
and I can't.
I'm always like a fan. I'm like a fan for fatal 4-way matches. I love it. It's like the best.
Everybody was so good, and the way it was choreographed and laid out, they had their spots. Everybody had them. I still love Orange Cassidy though.
We talked about it last episode. He's one of my favorite people to watch in wrestling in general right now. He's really good, and I think that stuff is hilarious that he does.
Oh, you're stuck. There you go. Yeah, I thought that was a great match. I really like Shibata too. I thought he was really, really good in it. Hold on one sec. I had that. Now we need to talk about the big thing. When Sonata went against Jungle Boy Jack Perry, in my head, I was convinced that the swerve was going to be Hook swerving Perry. I didn't think it was going to be the other way around at first. And then I was reading online, Dave Meltzer and other reporters were saying that a heel turn was forthcoming from Jack Perry. Were you surprised? And what did you think about it?
So I was surprised because I kind of got that.
I'm so sorry. You're frozen.
All this stuff about Jack. Are you good? I'm still frozen, or am I good now?
You're kind of sputtering. Can you say it again? Because you're stuck. I can't.
Is it good now?
Yeah. No.
No.
Try to.
I don't know why. It looks
Yeah, it
on,
kind
on
of,
my screen looks good,
but I'm not sputtering to you, right?
not really.
Okay. For some reason you are on mine. So say it again. So Jack Perry, this was
Yeah, so
this
I
was very upsetting.
said, yeah, it got kind of spoiled for me. Like you said, I saw like a lot of backstage rumors that he was gonna turn heel, so I wasn't really surprised by it. But I I'm not too high on Jack Perry. I don't. I'm not too intrigued by his character. I don't think he's that good in the ring either. It might be like a hot take, but I've always been kind of bored, and I always thought Luchasaurus was better in the tag team. So that's kind of why I thought it was like. I guess he needs something new to keep him fresh.
Here's my problem with it. Yes, he does need something new because I think he, especially when he did this, you could tell he's like, I'm over being Jungle Boy. Like I think
Yeah,
he's, so he's probably gonna come out in like black pants,
yeah,
like
always.
black,
Yeah, it's always
right?
all black.
Totally
Yeah,
black. But what I don't get is, so he's now turned. Now we know that Christian Cage and Luchasaurus are together. So are you going to tell me that after everything Christian Cage did to him, he's not going to be like, I'll join you guys?
yeah. That's what I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's not that. I
hope
really
it's
am.
not that.
Yeah.
I was surprised. And then the funniest thing was Taz, like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden he has to leave to go get his son. And then all of a sudden Tony Schiavone's now the mic is like, we got Taz had to leave. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I think obviously they needed to do something with Jack Perry.
Yeah, it was getting a little stale, very stale. Especially, it's hard for somebody when I think in most tag teams when the tag team breaks up, there's always that one guy that can't get out of the shadow of the tag team, and that was him for a little bit. I felt like so. It's good to have a different gimmick, but we'll see what they do with it.
Right. And the other thing was I had read, and I think you probably saw the reports that WWE was really interested in Hook, is what I read. And so he's had nothing much to do.
Mm-hmm.
So is this going to elevate Hook in AEW to go against Jack? Right.
Yeah. That's what I guess that's what they're kind of leaning towards. I guess that's what the reports are saying. Because I mean, obviously we don't know what the situation is with Hook's contract, but I don't know how long he signed. So I wonder if WWE is, really going to push forward for that when he is a free agent.
So you were not that surprised of the turn.
It's only because I got that. It's like all these backstage people know everything already. Like,
right.
Like
but we didn't know. But we didn't know it was going to be tonight.
Yeah, no, yeah. Eventually, it's like eventually this guy's going to turn heel. We'll see when it happens, and then it was today. So,
but I have to say, Sonata was a great wrestler in that match.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah, I agree.
I wish he was on AEW like all the time. I thought he was really
to watch it.
Yeah, I was like, he's really, really great. Then I have to give it to, I thought Hangman Adam Page did some amazing moves in that match with Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler, Takeshita, Young Bucks. Eddie Kingston drove me nuts. I was like, get it ready over him. And Tomohiro Ishii getting the win was kind of like, that guy can't even move. That's like,
yeah.
What did you think of it?
Well, I was honestly, I thought I was very surprised at the end. I got the winner, I didn't think it would be the Elite and Eddie Kingston and Ishii. I thought it was going to be the Combat Club, but we got all the. It's just those matches with all those people are so hard to follow. It's like so much going on that it's hard to really give it like a rating. You know what I mean? Like it's like, how could you have technically a bad match when you have all these amazing wrestlers in the ring? So it's like, this guy gets a spot, this guy gets a spot. So it's like hard to follow. And I feel like at the same time, I know people really like the Combat Club and they think it's really good that people on Twitter love the group together. But I feel like there's so many good people in that ring that they could be all separate. Like it's like they're all together being grouped into one. And it's like we could easily get some other stories out of this. Like now what? Are they done or are they gonna keep going? Like
100%. I so agree. It's like 10 people in a ring is too hard to follow. There's so much going on. And then you can see kind of when it's like, oh, we're gonna rest over here. And then you guys do your thing. But the only thing that, it was, so in other words, it was like a train wreck, but good. I just remember there was a sequence, and I know you don't like Adam Page, but there was a sequence that Page was really good. I mean, he was fun. Do you know what I'm talking about? He he was really good. But I didn't like the Kingston thing, and then like, oh, he's pissed now. Do we care?
I'm not a big Kingston guy either.
I'm not a
Like you
Kingston
said,
fan
I'm not. He gets on my nerves, like you said, a little bit. He's like annoying. Like he's like annoying to watch.
And I was reading he had a hernia operation. He came back, and I'm like, okay. And then the Moxley thing with him kind of didn't really develop. I'm like, okay, is he going to help Moxley? He didn't do that either. So I was like, okay, I agree with you. I think 10 is too much in a ring if you're doing 5-on-5.
5-on-5. Like
I don't remember
5-on-5 and nobody's getting eliminated. It's not even like elimination match.
And there's no elimination.
They're all gonna be there the whole time.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So then, to me, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, to me, was the main event of the night. And I kind of would have closed with that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it peaked at that. And I have to tell you, is Will Ospreay not phenomenal? I think he's beyond the best.
Like I said in previous episodes, I would love to see him in maybe just AEW more or WWE. Like he needs to be on television like that, where more people are seeing him every week. Like he's like I told people, some of my friends that aren't into like more indie wrestling, even though I'm not as into it like at all. Like I watch it more because of AEW now. But like if you want to get into indie wrestling, like you need to watch Will Ospreay. He's like the best. He's awesome.
I really was I was like, I'm watching the best of the best.
Yeah. Him and Omega, it's like, how can you get it? That's why I agree. It should have been the main event. I would love to see that as a main event.
I know. I know there was blood, but which you could tell when they were like going away from it, there was going to be blood. It was the only blood match.
Surprisingly,
because I was worried we were going to have this talk, you and I, about how bloody AEW was, but it was the one match. But I was so, and I wrote this down. The funniest chant of the night was for Don Callis, piece of shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, the AEW crowd is definitely like,
they are so good. And I want to tell you, like, so I've been to AEW and WWE. Now you again, as we talked about before, you were with the hot crowd in Puerto Rico.
Very.
I can't comment about that.
Yeah.
But I do feel overall, when I watch Dynamite, Collision, this, as opposed to watching Raw and Smackdown on a weekly basis, the crowd doesn't seem as into it.
Yeah.
As in WWE.
And one thing I think that plays a factor into that it's not as much recently, but for a while AEW would go to the hot spots only. Like they didn't travel, like, you know, Raw's in a different state every week. You know, AEW would go from New York to Philly to, you know, LA to the hot crowd. So it's always going to be a hot crowd, which I think is smart. It's good for, especially for a company that's up and coming. But now they can go anywhere. But their fans are the rowdy, crazy fans from ECW that needed this hardcore wrestling that they haven't had in a while. So that's why, you know, you get those fans, especially in Canada and all that. So it's
Canada. I mean, I was very confused. And when Will Ospreay took the Canadian flag, it was like defaming the flag. They're still rooting for him. But that match was so great. And then when the piece of shit came out, I was like, it was going along so well. And I'm like, oh no, are you going to tell me he didn't get thrown out again? And of course I wanted a clean, even though they were bleeding and busted open, I wanted a clean somebody to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because then now I feel like people on Twitter are saying that's not the only, they're going to have another match. So I wonder how that's going to work out.
I mean, Omega is from Winnipeg and not from Toronto. So I kept thinking, oh, they'll all be into him, but they weren't.
No. Yeah.
I'm so glad. Now, so the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship goes back then to Japan with Will.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they had to do it, right? To get it off Kenny, because he's going to be.
He had it for
He had it since January.
Yeah.
I thought that was the culmination of
it. I wouldn't mind seeing that again in Wembley if they do want to do that again. They do it again in Wembley.
I had also another cool moment was I loved it because Sting's my favorite, so I loved that they stood up for him. I know he does
Yeah,
nothing anymore. I'm talking about my all-time favorite. Just
yeah,
like versus Jeff Hardy. I
yeah,
mean, it was cool. They literally all stood up, like they recognized like there's a legend here,
yeah,
and then he could barely move. But other than
yeah.
that,
I just can't even believe he's in matches. It's just like crazy to me.
and I kept hoping tonight was the night Sammy and Chris Jericho had the falling out.
Hmm.
I mean,
I
that
was
has,
surprised. I was just surprised they're not because I don't know how much longer you can go with this story. It's like been forever.
and he looked pissed at Chris
Yeah,
when he said, "I want you to go on the table and crush Sting, go up on the thing and come down." And he's like, "I
yeah,
don't want to do that."
uh-huh.
Then he does it, and then nothing happens with it.
Yeah, it's like a tease, and then it's like nothing. It's
I
like,
don't
what's the point of
understand.
teasing it?
I understand. The other thing I wanted to say, I didn't love that match, by the way.
I didn't like that it was second to last.
I was expecting if it was moved to second to last, it would have been much more dramatic
Yeah,
somehow.
it wasn't as good as it could have been. I don't think.
I agree with you on that. And then Bryan Danielson and Okada, I have my note here to talk to you about was I've never seen drop kicks like Okada. Those were amazing drop kicks. He got up so high to drop kick him.
He,
He's an amazing athlete.
I was just very surprised that, like, I know that, like, the announcer kept saying over and over again that it's two of the best of all time. Like, I get it, but the match was good. I thought it was a little underwhelming towards the end. The tap out. I mean, it's crazy for him to tap out. I thought that was a
I
crazy
thought that
ending.
was
Like,
a weird ending.
yeah, but it reminded me a lot of like the Cody and Brock ending in Puerto Rico. It just like ended out of nowhere. Like I was expecting it to go till 12:30, they just ended it. But I mean, going back, that was an awesome entrance by Danielson. What an entrance that was with Final Countdown,
That
his Ring
that
of
was
Honor entrance.
that was
Yeah,
amazing. That was
the
all
crowd
amazing.
was singing along. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
And then in the match, they were either going Okada, 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 or then they were doing yes, yes, yes. So
yeah.
I was like, well, who are you guys for?
So I think they're just so happy to watch those two in the ring together. That's
I mean,
basically what
I
it was.
just I just think it was I wouldn't have put it last.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was worthy of it.
Yeah.
And some people disagree, but I didn't think it was.
And the only thing I can say about Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale is I whoever does the outfits for the outcasts is doing a great job because
Yeah,
they have the best clothes. I mean, that's about all I don't know what
yeah. I wasn't really into it. It was whatever. It was okay. It was an okay match. I do think Tony Storm is. I'm very happy, that she left, in the first place, WWE, because she was getting super underutilized there. Um, here she's one of the big time. I just thought we could have seen another match, a women's match. I mean, I don't know, like that's my only complaint really with AEW. They don't really put on a lot of women's matches on these pay-per-views. It's like one and that's it. Like
I've
you
seen
don't
them
really
do
see it.
too, but the problem is the matches that they have. I just think they need to beef up the division, and I just don't think they
Yeah,
have
that
the
that I
division.
agree.
I think
I think
that's
they need to go get Monet. That's the big
Monet,
thing.
and
Yeah,
then you heard about Monet got injured again.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I was thinking Monet was coming.
She was supposed to fight Paige. Well, Soraya. That was the rumor, but they scrapped that because she got hurt.
And didn't Willow Nightingale beat her, which is why she had the
Yeah,
IGWP, right?
yeah.
That's
She beat her when that was the day she got hurt.
the day she got hurt. Everybody's being hurt. So we were talking briefly about your bestie, Jeff Hardy. So basically
They
he
wrote him off.
they wrote him off by Juice Robinson hitting him in the head with a coin with quarters, but that's because he can't travel to Canada.
And the next 8 shows are in Canada.
Right. So poor Jeff, because of his DUIs, can't go.
Yeah, which sucks because I like to watch
Actually,
him.
he was not bad in that match. He
No, he
actually
wasn't.
he
Yeah,
flew, he had his good face paint, and
yeah.
he was actually good. And I was like, oh shit, he's not can't travel.
And I saw that. I was reading about that and going off of talking about tag team. Speaking of that, like FTR, I don't know if you saw it. FTR has defended their titles once since they won it. 80 days and they've defended it once. Like, how are they not on this show? I don't understand. You have nothing for them?
Nothing for them.
No tag, but like all these matches that don't have any championships, and you have an AEW Tag Team Championship on your AEW pay-per-view. It doesn't make any sense to me.
That's a really good point. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about was your boy Jay White got a big push on Saturday because he actually won.
Yeah.
So FTR, Punk, and Ricky Starks lost, which I thought was an interesting call.
Yeah.
It wasn't Punk winning. Which is
yeah.
Right. So again, I'm wondering, heel turn. But they're setting up Jay White, I think.
Finally, I mean, he needs to do something. He can't keep fighting in these multi-tag matches and not doing anything. That's not what he signed there for. I mean, that's what I'm guessing he didn't sign there for, unless he doesn't care. So that's, unless he just likes to sit in the main event and do tag matches.
And then, do you think Bullet Club is now with the Guns as well?
The Guns, I do think that's what it is, and I gotta say, I think they have one of the best entrances in wrestling right now.
Oh my God, I was gonna tell you that. Oh my God, awesome. This is amazing. You were gonna say that. I have this written down to tell you. I think the Guns entrance is amazing.
It just the water has made them look like such a more dominant tag team. I love the gear. Their gear is awesome too. I think it's great.
The gear and the music they have is great. Like, it's just so different, and the way that they're in that spotlight.
No, it's an awesome entrance. Yeah.
I was like, are these the same guys that were just kind of doing?
No, it's crazy. Yeah, like they were doing nothing, and now,
And then I think at some point, Daddy Ass is going to have to turn on the Acclaimed and go side with his boys and join the Bullet Club.
You think so? That'd be hilarious if he did.
And that reminds me. So you did see. Oh, I've lost you.
You're good. I'm back.
Okay. Did I say something?
I don't know what. No.
Oh, amazing. So breaking this down, the Harley Cameron Anthony Bowens moment that happened on Rampage.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
I want to talk about that because that is a landmark moment. It really was. I couldn't believe it. First of all, she's hilariously bad. I mean, she comes out and does this thing.
The crowd was ripping her apart. It was like
ripping her apart.
Yeah.
And then when she goes into she's rapping, and then she tells Bowens, she's like, "You're really into me." And then I thought it was really great that he went like, "I'm not, you think the way I'm dressed in it, I'm gay if you don't know it."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know if you could see my gear."
You see my gear, but I'm
rainbow. Yeah.
And I also love that the announce team, I have to give it to them, are like, "He's taken." They without saying, girl. I thought it was cool. They went, "He's already taken." She doesn't know what she's talking about. He's already taken because he's married to the guy, Michael.
Yeah.
So then when I heard them chanting, he's gay, I laughed so hard, but I thought
but it was like
it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was an historic, awesome moment.
And one thing, like we talked about before, like the one thing that I give AEW is that this would never happen in the reprogramming. Never. And it sucks because like that's something that's I watched it like live. I was watching Rampage and I was like, well, for me personally, I didn't know that he was gay. I didn't know that was I didn't know that before.
Oh, wait, you did not know before Friday?
I did.
You did?
Like, I thought that. No, I didn't.
Oh, got it.
So I thought that this was like him announcing it to everybody. I didn't know that was.
Oh,
maybe he's just like, oh. Am I good now?
Yeah. Say it again.
All right. So I said once I saw the gear, I just thought that he was wearing it because it's Pride Month and like he was just repping like the colors and all that stuff. And then when he said it, I started laughing like you said because the crowd. And I saw even a tweet, and a tweet was like, "This is the first time there's been a he's gay chant, and it's been like a positive thing, and it's like on AEW television. Like it's like it was like awesome to watch. It was really funny.
It was incredibly. It was so great because it was said positive, and you're frozen. Are you there? I'm losing you.
You're good. I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Your thing is frozen. And then he wrote, Anthony, if you told me years ago I'd have an arena chanting he's gay at me in the most positive of ways, I'd say you're crazy. It's pretty cool to see how far we've come. Still more work to do. Happy Pride. And then he also added, this app, meaning Twitter, has been beyond negative and atrocious since the sale, meaning Elon Musk.
Mhm.
I'm happy the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass have been able to spread love and positivity on here this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, they're great.
really a
They're both
landmark,
great.
really a landmark moment. And then I read, and I wanted to ask you if you knew this. There were reports that Billy Gunn and QT Marshall asked Bowens if he was okay before they did it. Would he be okay with it? And Bowens said he was all for it. And it was supposed to be set for Dynamite, but they did it at Rampage. So they pitched the idea to him. Would you be okay with this?
Yeah.
Because I think they may have tried other things that he wasn't okay with. You know, maybe it pitched him, but it was perfect. It couldn't have worked better.
Yeah.
And you would never see that in the WWE.
No, never. And like, it's just crazy because there's like, I don't know.
Why wouldn't you, with all the LGBTQ youth that watch wrestling, why would you not make them feel included?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I think they're a little behind with that.
They're very behind, not even a little. Like we talked about with the video package not too long ago that they had, the AEW made. WWE
Where's WWE's video package?
No, they don't have it. They won't do
it. And by the way, they can do a video package and they don't have to say wrestlers are gay. Why can't they say we support
and have people talking if they want to talk.
Right. Like we support our LGBTQ fans. Anything like that. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think Dynamite and Collision were pretty good this week. Certainly I thought they were better than Smackdown and Raw. I didn't think
like I said, it reminds me of a lot like the AEW Dynamite and Rampage episodes, like leading up to the pay-per-view, that they just try to get there. It's like filler episodes. That's what it feels like for Raw and SmackDown right now. It's just like, all right, let's get to Money in the Bank. Let's get it over with.
Money in the Bank and get it over with. Yeah. But there was a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. One was these numbers for Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker on NXT. The episode earned 773,000 viewers, the highest total for the show in 2 years, and the highest placement for the show ever in the 18 to 49 demographic. And that was his title defense against Bron Breakker, was, flirted with the 1 million mark in viewers. And that's huge for NXT.
Yeah.
What did you think about Seth going to NXT?
He's like we said, he's the best. Like, how many guys would willingly go there and go on their day, basically their day off? That's like his day off, Tuesday. That's like one of his only days off he probably has, and he's over there fighting in NXT. Like, he loves it. Like, he loves the sport, and he really does. And he shows that he wants to bring these young guys up. I mean, I think Breaker's ready to be on the main roster. I mean, I know they're gonna wait a little bit longer, but I would love to see him in the title picture right now. Like, he is awesome in the ring, and their match was great. And I also love what they're doing with Carmelo Hayes as well in NXT. He's another one that's a star. He really is.
I agree with you. And I was like, why don't they just bring Bron Breakker? But I guess they need people on NXT.
Yeah, they need someone there. So
they need those two guys and
WWE. Yeah, they run it right now.
Yeah. Then there was the beatdown by Finn Balor came out and beat down Seth.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Which was cool. Because at least something happened.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just throw him on NXT. You furthered along his story as well, which is what good.
Speaking of Finn Balor, I think there's a chance he wins at Money in the Bank. I don't know. I have a gut feeling that he might win. I don't know why. I just think he might.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like a feeling I have. I think they might do it. Maybe not, but I think it's part of me that I kind of would like to see it because I think he deserves another title run.
Finn?
Yeah.
It could be.
Or we get, what you said about, Finn wins, Damian Priest catches in on Finn.
And so on that note, okay. So since we last really talked, Logan Paul is in Money in the Bank.
Yes. I just hated the way they did it. That kind of pissed me off.
Because he just showed up and said, I'm in Money in the Bank.
I mean, I'm
what was
Logan
the
Paul.
point?
I'm in the match. What was the point of the qualifier matches? Why didn't everyone do that?
Well, I just want to go on there and go, I'm just going to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they did build heat between LA Knight and Logan Paul. And I don't know if you read the interview with LA Knight that he did in a UK publication. I think it was the Daily, right? And I thought it was really interesting that because he's older, he's 40 or in his early 40s,
41 or 42.
41, that they didn't want to push him. I think he might
He needs to win. He needs to win.
I'm kind of
He's the hottest guy right now.
I'm feeling like, from what you said originally to me, I'm feeling now, especially since they did a thing with him and Logan Paul, he's the hottest guy. He just beat Rey Mysterio, right?
Which was huge, and the crowd was behind him.
And everybody wanted him to beat him. So we've got Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest.
Well, the one thing I said was
Damian.
that this is the first time that I'm watching. One of the first times I'm watching Money in the Bank where there's literally no powerhouse like favorite. Like they're all mid card guys. Every single guy is a mid card guy. So that's why I kind of don't mind who wins, because I feel like we're getting a new face no matter what with the Money in the Bank. I just think it would be dumb for Logan Paul to win just because he's never there. So it would be really dumb. I just think he's there to get some crazy high flying, spots in. But unless they swerve us, then he wins.
Right. So if you're looking at that, it's got to be LA Knight, Damian Priest, or Logan, right?
Yeah, those are the three. I don't think Butch, no shot. Escobar, no shot.
Nakamura, no shot.
Nakamura, no shot. And then
Ricochet,
I don't think is a
he's
shot.
just there to do high flying maneuvers.
Yeah, I think those three. I think in order, it's LA Knight, Priest, and then Logan.
I think it's got to be LA Knight. Yeah. I just think the way
they'd be dumb if they didn't.
And to that point, and you and I have had this conversation about, because I felt this about ageism. Like, this is an ageism thing. Like, you're telling me LA Knight's he can't be that great or get a push because he's in his early 40s. That sucks. That has nothing to do with his ability.
He's freaking enormous. He's great.
His physique's amazing. He can wrestle like nobody's business. So what's the problem?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like you're not building him up to win, for it takes 10 years. Like, just taking advantage of what you want right now. You know how much merchandise you could sell if he wins the championship? Like, everything.
But this goes along the lines of, times are changing in certain respects. And I feel you can't always go with the typical formula.
Yeah.
Which is what WWE has done. They've gone with a formula, like, this is going to be the guy, and he fits this bill.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Bill, where was Bill Goldberg? I was all ready for him to come out and be the third Darby.
That's what everyone was saying, but I don't know. I feel like he's definitely going to be at Wembley. Like, he has to be. There was rumors of him going against Ryback. I don't know if you saw that. That Ryback wants to be at Wembley.
Is that interesting?
I don't care.
I don't care.
I could care less. Ryback has no interest. I have no interest in watching Ryback.
I have no interest in Ryback. Now, on the women's Money in the Bank, it's Zelina Vega, Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Bayley, Io Sky, and Trish. Shouldn't this go to Io?
I think it's gonna be Zelina.
What happened to
that's my pick.
Well, I not Becky.
No way. Becky and Trish and Zoe Stark are gonna get, like, they're gonna knock each other all out, and then it's gonna be just them three, and I think Zelina's gonna win. That's my pick.
Okay. I'm between Zelina and Io.
Those are my two picks, but I think they're gonna do something with Io and Bayley.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so what do you think about the Civil War, Usos versus Roman and Sokoa? So here's my thought before you answer. I was all excited for this,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm like, so now what? I don't know. I got this. So they're gonna wrestle. What's the upshot of this match in your
I
mind?
don't know, because like it's a tag team. No one else is going to be interfering, so it's like it's going to end clean, I guess. So like,
Clean. It won't end clean.
well, I guess like some type of clean, because like who else would interfere besides those? They're all
Paul
that's everyone in
Heyman
the. Well, yeah, I guess Paul, but like at
or another or Rikishi comes out or
The Rock,
Rikishi, The Rock, the eighth brother. Somebody comes out.
there is another brother, by the way. I don't know if you.
I know there's
that.
another brother.
That's training. He's training now.
What if that brother comes out?
I think Solo and Roman are gonna win.
And then where does that go?
I don't know. That's the only
Because
thing, it's the same situation I was at where was it? What was the last pay-per-view? No, I Clash. What was it? The one that was in the it's the Saudi Arabian one.
oh yeah,
Crown Jewel.
Yeah, Crown Jewel.
So I was at that point, I was like, yeah, it's cool that they're gonna fight each other, but I don't think it's gonna, end in anything crazy. And then they had him turn, which I wasn't expecting. So I'm hoping they just give us something different, something we're not predicting. So, but I do think Roman and Solo will get the win.
Okay, and then at what point does
There you go.
what point does Sokoa turn on Roman?
I don't think not yet. I think they're gonna give Jimmy or Jay the title match at SummerSlam first.
So they would go against Sammy?
No, I think they're gonna give Jimmy or Jay the match against Roman at
Oh,
SummerSlam,
the
'cause
singles match. The
'cause he needs
singles
an
match.
Roman hasn't defended his title in 2 pay-per-views.
Well, that's why we have the other championship.
Yeah, that's literally what they said. That's literally what they said. That's what their explanation was. There you go.
And
Here's your fighting champion.
here's your fighting champion. And speaking of that, I saw a backstage vignette. I don't know if you saw that at NXT, where Seth is with Shawn Michaels and he says, "This is everything to me."
Yeah.
And now I can see how he was like modeled himself after Shawn,
Yeah,
especially
no,
showboating and everything. And he was like, "This meant everything to me. And if it wasn't for Shawn, I wouldn't have my career. I wouldn't have my wife. I wouldn't have this." And he really owed it all to Shawn, which is so interesting because, you hear so many other stories about what an asshole Shawn was.
Yeah, no, he definitely. I feel like Shawn definitely he started out as that, but then everyone says that he ended on very good terms with everyone, and now he's giving back to everybody. NXT, he runs NXT alone basically, so it really is cool to see like them two, because Seth, that's like his mentor. So I definitely see a lot of Seth, with the gear, like it's a lot of Shawn. So it's definitely fun and good to see.
I do think AEW tonight put on a great show. And if you're spending $50 for a pay-per-view, I always feel when they do their pay-per-views, they do try to give people their money's worth from what they have to work with.
When you're basically paying like $7 for an hour every hour.
$7 for all 10 hours.
$10 for every hour that you're watching wrestling. That's what it is.
It was like, okay. But I do feel they do give you your money's worth. I just
would like to see. It's just hard at the same time for I'm not used to paying. It's like such an old school thing to pay for pay-per-views. So it would be cool to eventually get some type of streaming service for AEW, so where you don't have to pay. Being able to watch the WWE pay-per-views for $5 a month is crazy. So it really is. But.
And also, I wonder if they could, put AEW Collision Dynamite on a platform. So if you miss it for the week, go watch it.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I don't love about Peacock. You only have you can't go watch an episode of Smackdown.
No.
You can't go watch an episode of Raw. So it's not,
it's not
all WWE content. It's just pay-per-views and shows and things like
documentaries and all that stuff.
Right. Which I think would be better. What was your best show of the week tonight?
Today. Yeah, today. It was awesome. Yeah.
It was really
cool
great.
to watch.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. So did we miss anything? I think we've covered it.
I think we got it all. Yeah.
Okay,
think
so we're giving the
back.
pay-per-view an A.
An A. Yeah, I think A minus.
A minus.
Yeah.
And where did they minus those last two matches before?
I just think the order of the last two matches didn't really make sense. The last three, I guess.
And who was your biggest star of the night? Who like made the biggest impression on you?
I don't know. I think, like I said, I think Will Ospreay showed that
Will Ospreay.
People need to be watching NJPW more often. Even myself. Like now I want to go watch his old matches and watch his old stuff.
And Sonata, I think, is good.
It's really funny because like I feel like he reminds me a lot of like, the guys, they all wrestle like in AEW. So that's why it's like cool to watch. They all replicate each other. They all wrestle kind of the same. So
yeah, and to me, and also two last things. Did you feel that I just feel like there's so much more wrestling going on in AEW than WWE. I feel like I'm watching a wrestling match with all these amazing moves.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? I know you're a big WWE
I know it feels that way. I know it's definitely true, but I also feel like it's because of the fact that like when you watch a WWE pay-per-view, the pay-per-views the matches feel so much more like high magnitude because it's like they build this huge story for 6 months. And then they paid off. AEW, think about it. These rivalries came about like 3 weeks ago.
No, not 3 weeks ago.
Not
2 days
even.
ago. 2 days ago. And on that note,
yeah,
listen to this. This is funny. So I was on my first media call with Tony Khan on the earlier in the week. The first one I was on. So I hadn't been on one of them before, and you're on it, and you're it's audio only. You're not seeing anybody, and I didn't know. You can either write in a question and they call on you, or they just go through a list, apparently. Well, I stupidly, instead of just, I typed my question in, and I probably shouldn't have, because my question was, so do you like, Tony, like the fact that you've got like only like 2 shows to promote your matches when you just kind of threw them all together? Like, do you like, and I was trying to say, do you like the planned execution of storyline, or do you like to kind of drop the mic, throw everything together? And they never asked my question. So I probably said, Tony.
That was your last time on an AEW call ever.
And they never talked to me again. So that was it. But my point was, to that point, like, there's no buildup to these matches on AEW. That's what's great about WWE with the buildup, so you're invested. Here, you're like, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a headache. There's so much being thrown at me. I need to follow this. But what do you think?
That's like I said. You talking about how I'm like more of a WWE guy. I'm more attracted to these storylines and feeling like I have to tune in. Like I don't feel like I have to tune into AEW every week to watch AEW, because you can tune in today and you didn't miss anything. That's all it was. It was just today. Like imagine tuning in to this Money in the Bank and watching the Civil War. You would have no idea about the last 3 years of storylines. Like you don't have no idea that Jay lost to Roman to start his title run. That was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like you missed all that. That's why I like WWE. That's why it keeps me interested every week, because I have to watch the show. And I can miss AEW.
Right. And that's to your point. I remember sitting down for Smackdown, and they replayed the whole, storyline leading up to that Friday night. And you're so in it because you follow the story. You're like, I can't wait to see what happens now.
Yeah.
That's what's been so great about the Bloodline story, why it's been masterful, why it's so great, why when they do build these stories, it's so good. And then I go to AEW and I'm like, oh, cool. So they've got Sonata and Jungle Boy. Why is that happening?
Like, hey, you're from AEW. I don't like you. Let's fight.
But then when I get down to the actual matches, sometimes I feel a little shortchanged in the WWE. Sometimes. I don't know. It depends.
All I gotta say is that as a fan, I would love to see this Forbidden Door with the WWE and AEW, but I know it'll never happen. So whatever. But
wait, you'd like to see WWE against AEW, or
imagine WWE AEW Forbidden Door? That would be like the best pay-per-view ever. Like it would break
the
records.
guys from Japan.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, so I'm saying
All of
all of
them.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would break records. That's why like I hate that WWE would never do that because they would never give AEW that magnitude. Because at the end of the day, everybody's argument is that WWE gains nothing out of that, and all they're doing is giving AEW more ammo, which is true. WWE doesn't need to do that pay per view, but AEW would very much like to do that, and I know Tony Khan would do it in a heartbeat if they asked him. But
I agree. It would be, it's like, why not? Like, do it once.
imagine you had Rollins, Ospreay, and Omega in a match against each other.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then one other thing is I'm waiting for Drew McIntyre to show up.
He'll be there, I think.
And this is going to happen at Money in the Bank, or
Yeah, I think he's going to cost. I think he's going to cost someone
and join the Judgment Day.
That's that's what I want to happen. I want him to cost like someone, and then Priest wins, and then he's the guy that helped him win.
So we have next weekend.
Yeah, next Saturday.
Next Saturday is Money in the Bank. So
yeah,
we got to figure that out. And do that. But
it's actually Saturday. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Right. So actually we won't have to get on
yeah.
Night
So it might be a little bit easier. It might be a little easier.
Right. People might watch it. People might come and talk to us. Yeah, because it's on early.
It's at so 12 p.m. over there by you.
12 noon.
Noon, yeah.
So it'll be 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah. So like around like 6-ish, 6:30.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think wrestling's really hot right now. There was so much going on this week. I was like
it's like so much to keep track of.
So much to keep track of. I was like, so when we were going to meet earlier in the week, I was like, oh, there's this, and this, then all this other stuff happened.
Yeah.
But it was
so
kind
of like, it kind of helped out that now we're able to talk about all of it. So I'm guessing the next one could either be during the week or Saturday. So I guess we could figure that out.
We're going to figure it out, people, and we will put on my channel when the next show is. We'll talk about that. But definitely it should be next Saturday, right?
Yeah, for sure. No matter what, it's Saturday. We'll be one of them, and then we'll see if we'll go Wednesday or like Thursday.
We'll see if we show up. Yeah. All right. Well, it was a great show. Long but great. Okay.